Hi, guys. Welcome back again. First of all, podcasting, when you're trying to figure out something about yourself and then you're like, I'm not sure if I'm going to be good at this. I feel like podcasting has come naturally to me. I feel like it's very natural for me to do podcasting. Who was even saying this to me? I don't know if it was Glory or Toby. And because I was like expressing my concerns about doing this podcast solo. And they were like, my guy, you've been recording videos for dance like since. And I was like, hold on, wait. I have been doing that. But yeah, so today I'm gonna talk about something very heavy on my heart. I almost didn't want to talk about it because I feel like I always talk about this and people are tired of me saying this. But I'm gonna try and take another angle and not make this about myself. If you already listened to this point, you probably can guess what I want to talk about. I'm going to call this episode the forced pivot or a lost career episodes. Yes, you figured out what I want to say. I'm very upset by the fact that the reality of the immigrant condition, because it's now a condition, the reality of the immigrant condition is having to switch careers because your immigration status does not support it. What am I trying to say? You have chosen a field, you have worked for it, you have put in blood, sweat, tears, and either when you come over here, the salary threshold does not meet the visa requirements, or in that particular field is just too saturated so that company doesn't sponsor, or just something. And then you find the people probably at the peak of their careers who left home for greener pastures having to start again. And at first address it in regards to industry professionals having to come over here, being told that maybe their degree or their qualification is not recognized, or it's just like they need one from here or from said country. And so you're looking for other jobs. They need the quickest way to make money. So they go into the easiest ones to get. So like care or like store assistant or like warehouse worker, those type of things. And I have been in a warehouse. I've worked in a warehouse before once. I ran away after the first day because first of all, why is it so far away from the city? Second, so I'll be commuting for 2 hours. After I loaded, I think it was for Sainsbury's or Morrison's or something. After I loaded things and you're not allowed to sit down. That first night, I was just like, bruh, I don't think this is for me. I would rather starve than go back again. So, yeah, I just did that for one day and nah. And thankfully, thank you, Jesus, I found something else. I've worked with people who have, like what they're saying is they just be like, I used to be a doctor in Nigeria. I used to be a lawyer in Nigeria. I used to be an accountant in Nigeria or wherever they've come from. And you can see that sadness in their face. And all they want to do is either provide for their family or just make a living for themselves. And I'm just like, this is not bloody fair. Of course, this is not our country. This is not where we are from. So we are just going to take it as they give us and all. But when you start to think about how much of a sacrifice it is to pivot, not like a chosen pivot, which by the way, I feel like even the people who choose to pivot have decided to pivot because they've just been like, I don't think it's working, and then they pivot. I think the only difference is the opportunity to choose to pivot and then having to choose and then having to pivot. So the first pivot, the difference is the opportunity to choose. So the people who eventually say, okay, I'm switching to tech or I'm switching to whatsoever career, they get that. And then the other ones who get to the country and they realize their qualification is not recognized, or the company or the field does not like meet the visa requirements or the salary threshold or something, and then they have to pivot. It's like there's no other choice at all. I think the difference is the choice and all. Everybody's still pivoting, and from the beginning, it's not as if anybody wanted to do that. So let's have that there first of all. So I think it's very interesting that this is the immigrant condition. I think I have shared my story in bits. I shared it in a way that wasn't really me talking about pivoting, but me talking about, oh my gosh, I lost this career. And I want to, like, full disclosure, this is a new season, fresh and everything. So this is my story. Life is very funny, like, because the more I think about it, and I promise you guys, I'll be able to get through this story without crying. Actually, that's not true. I don't really cry in public, so I don't know why I just said that. For me, I was a dancer in Nigeria. I was a ballet and contemporary dancer in Nigeria. And if you are aware, even right now that there's like more people interested in ballet and all, there's still no formal training center that is like accessible to all. I can think of a few, but there are still some limitations to it, just because ballet is not seen as like career in Nigeria. It's seen as like a luxury, and then people who have the careers, they dance at weddings and they maybe shows or music videos and stuff like that, as opposed to here and other countries that practice ballet, and having a job as a ballerina is a full-time job, because you're doing like 9 to 5 training every day. And so the way somebody working a 9 to 5 job would go to work Monday to Friday, a ballerina in a ballet company would go to work Monday to Friday and they'd be paid. So even if they dance like once or twice this season, as long as they are there, they have a salary and all. So it's very different in Nigeria. So I started dancing ballet when I was 18. I was self-taught, and what I had was YouTube videos. I would watch videos of what I had seen online, and then I'd try to replicate it. So there was a mirroring problem, first of all. There was also a spotting problem. I did not have a teacher to watch me and say, this is the wrong technique, this is how you're supposed to do it. Sickled feet and... I've forgotten all the terms because I haven't danced in a very long time. But I didn't have a teacher, and what I yearned for was a teacher, was an environment where I could dance. So I wasn't even an industry professional when I wanted to train abroad. What I was seeking was training. What I was seeking was technique. What I was seeking was perfection of technique. I wanted a vocational course, and I wanted a vocational training. So there was a lot of things I sacrificed. So when my colleagues, when I say colleagues, when my mates from uni and peers were like investing in their careers, investing in themselves and climbing up the career ladder, the corporate ladder, I was climbing up my dance ladder, because my goal was I would train well enough in order to be taken in a professional dance training industry. Professional dance training school, rather. And so I did that. First year I tried, I did not get in. Second year I tried, I did not get in. Third year I tried, I got in. The number of schools that I did, I applied to one in Israel, I applied to one in Australia, I applied to one in Canada, I applied to one in Denmark. There were a couple of schools. The UK was not part of it because the fees are ridiculously expensive here, man. Bro, like... Can't we even talk about the fact that international students pay almost triple what home students pay? Like, anyway. So I didn't apply to the UK because every time I saw the fees, I was just like, nope. And there were very little scholarship opportunities. So I just stuck to the other countries. And so got resounding no's from loads of them. And then the third year, which was the COVID year, 2020, I got my yes. Actually, that's not true. I got a yes in 2020. I got a yes in 2019 December when I was in Egypt from Australia. I don't know if I mentioned I also went to Australia, also applied to Australia. But the reason I didn't go to Australia was because they were not sponsoring students. So the school was only for home students. So they were offering to international students, but then they didn't have visas to sponsor international students. So they said to me, the course is for 2 years. You can apply to be a visiting person, a visitor, and that is going to be between 6 months to 1 year, and then you can apply again. I'm just like, I don't really want to bet my life on the fact that I'm just going to be applying every 6 months. So I just said, nah, not going to do that. So I forfeited that one, and then I got into Canada, and we're processing that one. And then unfortunately for me, we used an agent, and the agent kind of messed up the application, so I did not get into Canada. I had already paid like a deposit and stuff, but they were like, it's non-refundable. And then this agent came and he's like, well, you know what? I found a school in the UK and you're going to be doing a master's in choreography. I was like, it's not the same thing. I got accepted to a vocational training course. He's like, but it's just dance now. Anyway, I think at that point I was really tired of trying. It felt like my opportunities were running low and I was just over it. So this was my thought process. I was like, who doesn't want a master's degree? I'll take the master's degree, and then when I'm there, I look for training opportunities. Besides, I will be there, so it would be much easier to find training, which is what I did. And then when I got here, obviously, rudest shock of my life, things were not as it seemed. But the funny thing is, everybody I met, there's something I always say, like, when you're speaking to immigrants, first 3 questions are always, what visa are you on? How did you come here? Are you a student? Like, those are the first 3 questions. Or what's your next move? Everybody's interested in settlement status, which is fair because the time in our hourglass is like very limited. So everybody's like, okay, how long are you here for? Those are like the first, that's first date question, honestly. honestly. So I was speaking to people and I would say to them, I'm a dancer. I was speaking from passion mostly. I'm a dancer. This is where I've come from. This is what I want to do. And then they would say to me, how are you going to do it, like sponsorship wise and all? And I'm like, don't worry. Like, I didn't think that far because I'm just like, in my head at that time, all I wanted to do was just dance. And I'm like, dance is enough. I can do it. That's not true for the immigrants. So, so everybody was just like, you know what you should do? Maybe get a job that sponsors your visa and then dance on the side, which sounded very similar to everybody telling me back home, get a real job and dance on the side. So I took offense to that. I was like, why would you say that to me? Like, I'm here to dance. Like, dance is enough. Anyway, I didn't listen to people. I decided I was going to go for it. So after my master's, I applied for the graduate route visa that allowed me 2 years in the country to look for work or to work without like needing a visa. If someone was to ask me what will I do differently during my graduate route years, I'd say I would upskill. I mean, I did upskill eventually, but I spent a lot of my time dancing. After my master's, I found this dance school that was going to I found this dance school that was going to train me. It was a good thing because the fees were low. I didn't have to pay international fees because it was just like, I'm here. So it's a vocational training center. I said to them up front, I need a visa sponsorship. And they responded, we don't provide that. How long do you have in the UK? I said, this is when my visa is up. And they're like, oh, just stay here and train. We might get our license soon. So they didn't say we will get our license soon on this date. They said we might get our license soon, which was very interesting. But again, I just want to dance. I just want to be in the room with a professional teacher, industry professionals, experiencing that moment of being taught professional ballet in a class. I just want that experience and I want to grow from that. The thing I didn't realize was I had to pay my bills, I had to pay my fees, I had to pay my rent, I had to live again. So I was dancing full-time, working part-time, and paying bills full-time. So let me describe what my schedule was like. Monday to Thursday was full-on dance training, averaging 9 to 6 actually. And then Thursday night, I would do a night shift, care work night shift from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. And then Friday night, 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. You'd think I would rest on the weekend, right? No. Saturday, because church was very important to me, and the first few months I came to the UK, I was very depressed and I needed that church community. So I committed to going to church every weekend from Leeds to London. So I would commute from Saturday to Sunday from Leeds to London. And then Sunday night, I'll be back again to repeat my routine. So there was no point where it's like, have a backup plan for the visa situation, because unfortunately for you, you're an immigrant, so you have to have a backup plan. No, I was chasing passion because I'm like, finally, I am doing this. Finally, I have dreamt about this. I have dreamt of this moment and I'm finally doing it. When the moment came that, actually, one of the biggest blessings that happened to me in the UK was my injury, because it kind of woke me up from my slumber. It did wake me up and I was like, how is it possible that I have been doing this for this? And when I described my routine to you guys, so Monday to Thursday, dance, Thursday night, Friday night, work. The work was dependent on whether I got the shift. So it was not like I got the shift. It was not like, okay, I've gotten the shifts definitely every Thursday, every Friday. Nope. I was working for a care agency, and so the shifts were first come, first serve. They would just post it on the group chat. Shifts available in this care home. If you didn't get it, or you're not working that week, and that's it. And my flatmate, Chinam, so God bless you, we actually like calculated that I needed 2 shifts per week to make my monthly payments to the dance school, because they were generous enough to give me a 50% scholarship and organize a payment plan for me. Because even as low as the home student fee was, I still was not able to pay it. So I had to say, look, this is what I cannot do. I can do this, I can do this. And they were like, okay, 50%, pay monthly plan, and you're on your way. So we calculated that if I get 2 shifts a week, I'd be able to make my monthly rent in Leeds, so it was cheap, not people's crazy London prices these days. I'd be able to make my monthly rent with bills. I'd be able to feed myself. I'd be able to travel to London every week and back. And I would be able to, what's the other thing? Pay my dance bills. All of my bills were going to be covered under that. That was it too. So no luxury, no skincare, no hair, no makeup, nothing, no new clothes. That was it. Because I was even used to it. That was how I was living in Nigeria. I was focused on dance, and any other extra thing was seen as a luxury. That was the plan. But as you all know, things don't go according to plan. Then days will come, weeks will come when I would not get, maybe I'll get 1 shift per week, or I'll get no shifts. And I was really like forcing myself to get shifts. So I was doing that work just so I can be able to pay for dance and become a professional dancer. But then I was now forced to leave dance classes so that I can work to make money to pay for the dance classes that I'm missing. And I just realized that I was just hating the whole process. I wasn't hating dance, but I was just hating the situation I was in. I was like, am I in the wrong career? I'm back at it again. In Nigeria, I was questioning whether I was in the wrong career because it just did not seem like anything was working out. And now I'm back here again. I'm not even dancing because I'm missing classes to go for shifts, because I'm not even getting Thursday and Friday night shifts, and all of that drama. And I can never forget, there was this day I didn't get a shift that week, and I needed to meet up for the rent because it was coming up. I had gone to church. On my way from church, like London back to Leeds, I just got a message on the group chat for like the work and the agency, and they were like, shifts available in this care home. Now, I need to say this. So, agency staff earn a bit more. I think I was earning like £13 an hour, which was kind of good. Last minute shifts are like £2.50 extra. Weekend shifts was like £1.50 extra. I never did weekend shifts because I was always in London doing church work and stuff. So I was on my way back. I was just thinking about my life. Like, what am I going to do? How am I going to make rent? How am I going to make the bills? How am I going to eat this week? I mean, again, so really like stood up for me. Like, he really like was there for me. So I knew that. I mean, I'll eat her food, but how long will I be like munching up off of my flatmate? But I was just like, I need to get something this week. And then the message came on the group chat, which I should say, but the reason why I was always missing those messages for shifts was I was always in dance class and we are not allowed to have our phones in dance class. So by the time class is over, I will run to my phone. I'll just see shifts available. And I'm like, available. They will like scroll down. Somebody has already taken it and all. So that was it. So when I was coming back from London that particular Sunday and I saw that message saying shifts available, I didn't even think. I just said, I'm taking it. That was for Sunday night into Monday morning. Remember, I have ballet and contemporary class on Monday. I came back home and I just said to Chinomso, I'm working at X house. First of all, there are certain care homes. If you've worked in care, there are certain care homes that people know they're not going to decide because that place is hard. And then every time, like there are always shifts available for those places most of the time. Or either that or they had specific people that they always preferred. So when they put that is this house that is available, I just showed Chinomso the message. She said, IJ, this place? I said, I don't have money this week. I need money this week. And she's like, I said, but you have dance class. I said, I came back home, changed, bought Monster 2, carried jollof rice in the house. I think it was Chinomso's food safe. I carried it. I said, please pity me. I carried it. I said, this is what I'm going to eat. Went to the care home. I was even on the social media team at church, so I was still like editing and sending deliverables. I said, okay, this video is going out this week, this video is going out this week. So that was the worst, probably one of the worst nights I've experienced in the UK. I don't even know what to say, but by the time I was done with that shift, I came back. I don't think I was awake. I came back, showered. The house we're staying was like 3 floors. Ground floor was where the main living room was and the kitchen was. So as I just came, I just dropped my bag, carried food, ate, went upstairs, showered, changed, carried my dance clothes, went to dance class. By the time I got to dance class, I was not even awake. The last class of the day is always jazz, and jazz is a lot of cool down afterwards. I slept on the floor. They had to wake me up. They were like, Ijeme, wake up. And then I stood up. On my way back, I was just like, I was not even awake. And that day was just like a wake-up call because I'm like, is this what you want to keep doing? Is this Ijeme? Is this what you want to keep doing with your life? I had to stop and think. But I didn't stop that day. I still kept on doing it. And then the biggest thing, like that's why I keep saying the greatest miracle I experienced in the UK was my injury because it was a wake-up call. That injury because then I had to stop dancing. And when I stopped dancing, it was like I stepped away from everything. And I was like, wow, I've really been doing this. And I just realized that you can't win against this system. People who are artists in this country, a lot of them, especially the ones who are not like the mainstream ones, like in ballet where you have a constant job or other things. If you are living from gig to gig or from cruise ship to cruise ship, they have to get second jobs in order to have a sustainable, consistent income. Then I'm like, who am I? The immigrant to do that? I was just like, the system, I can't beat the system, at least not now. Let me find my food. Let me get something that's making me eat food every day. And I was just like, from that day, I know that I started to think about dropping what I was there for. And I started to think, I think that was now like a year into my graduate route visa. And then the injury happened like not too long after that, like a month after that, because I felt like my body was trying to tell me something. After that, I now went on a break, I think for like 3 weeks. I was injured from dance, but I was still going for shifts because why not? Like, I'm not going for dance class. I might as well go for shifts. My knees were hurting, but what can you do? Then after I came back from my break, I went to speak to the school's management and I was like, this is my situation. We spoke the last time about the visas and all of that. What are you saying? Can you sponsor me? And they're like, sorry, we cannot. And I was like, it felt like I just wasted my time here. Like, I appreciate it. Like the 1 year I was here, I did experience something I've always wanted to experience. But unfortunately, being an immigrant, I do not have the luxury to have those kind of wants. I have other needs that I need to meet. And so I think that was just the point. I was just like, you have to switch careers. I don't know what it's going to be, but you have to switch careers. You have to figure out your life, because your life is dependent on your visa and your settlement status. And that is something that a lot of people, it almost feels like you don't have the right to be passionate about something. It almost feels like I cannot be passionate about something because I have to first think of what my settlement status is. I remember even when I was a student and I would apply for some dance jobs that I was qualified for, because I would go for the audition and I would ace it and I'll get to the next round. And the first thing they'll just say to me is, do you have the right to work in the UK? Because if you do not, we do not have sponsorship for you. And the first thing I would say is, thank you for telling me so that I'll not waste my time. But it was just something that there were so many things that just would stop me. And this is just me speaking from an artist's perspective. I know people who have had to pivot because maybe there isn't enough, or maybe the industry is oversaturated, or I don't know, it just doesn't meet the threshold that has been set. And you're just like, just be realistic. Like you tell yourself, you have to speak to yourself, just be realistic. If your goal is a settled status, you have to think about that. That is your first point. That is the lens that you use to see everything. If your goal is a settled status, you use that lens to view everything. Your career, your finances, every single thing, every single move you make in this country is from the view of the fact that you're an immigrant. And I think that is just messed up. But it is our current reality, so we're just going to go with that. But yeah, thank you guys for listening to me. I feel like it wasn't so bad. I didn't cry, so that was good. I think that's progress. That's progress. So I'm very happy that I was able to talk about this. Now you know my story. That's not the full thing, but I know that in subsequent episodes I talk about it. I will get on and on and on and on, tell you guys what I'm up to and how my career currently is going. But I'm very excited. Again, I've used the word excited. And yeah, thank you for watching. Please like, comment. Please, I beg you, if this thing touched your chest, comment, share, subscribe, and click on that bell thing so you get notified. We are on every platform. Podcast speaking. We are on X, we are on Instagram, we are on TikTok, we are everywhere. So just share our stories, share your stories, subscribe to the newsletter, and we have a form if you want to share your own personal stories regarding whatever topic I touch on. Please feel free to do that. I'm very happy that you guys are with me on this journey, and I'm looking forward to recording more episodes. Bye.